Dear Dr. Becky, I've always considered myself a person of strong faith, but lately that faith feels confusing. Some days I feel deeply connected to God. Other days I'm filled with doubt or even frustration when life doesn't make sense. I keep wondering, does questioning my faith mean I'm losing it? Or could this be part of growing spiritually? I don't want to feel like I'm failing God just because I'm struggling to understand.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. And thank you so much for writing Confused About Faith. I think this is a wonderful, wonderful topic. And interesting enough, as I was listening to your words in your letter, I noticed that you actually do have a lot of faith because faith is actually very complex. So let's talk about that today. Faith is often defined, as we know, as a belief without proof, but its expression varies greatly across cultures, families, and individual experiences. Some people find strength in unwavering certainty. Others discover that faith is fluid and it evolves as they learn and they grow. And neither approach is right or wrong. The key is understanding how faith functions in our lives. Is it a source of comfort, strength, and sometimes is it a challenge? Let me give you an example. I have a client, we'll call him Andre. He came to therapy struggling with spiritual exhaustion. He was devoted to his faith, but he also felt very pressured to be perfect, unwavering, and always at peace. When he struggled with doubt or just feeling overwhelmed by what he saw as the faith's expectation, he really felt like he was failing. Not just himself, but God. But through therapy, because that was his main focus, he learned that faith isn't about never struggling. It's about finding meaning in the struggle. He was able to understand that just as a muscle grows with resistance, our faith can deepen when we allow ourselves to wrestle with really hard questions. He also recognized that the expectations he felt from his faith was a lot of his own internal expectations because of his own need to be perfect. He learned that he was not failing himself or God, but in fact, he was striving towards greater growth and understanding, which was allowing him to have a better relationship with his higher power. So, with the right therapist, therapy can be a very safe place to explore these deep questions. Here's what can happen when you integrate mental health and faith, as I've seen this many times with the people who I've worked with. We can address the cognitive dissonance that may be causing anxiety or depression, and that is that internal conflict. We can also learn to harness our faith as a source of emotional healing and comfort. Faith is often what helps people get through those really difficult times. We can integrate spiritual beliefs with lived experiences in healthier ways. Sometimes our experiences with spirituality may have been pretty rough, and we can look at that, we can redefine it, and we can look at how we can integrate it in a way that is healthier, that is more true to ourselves. And as we do this, we build confidence and trust, not just in ourselves, but also in others and in our faith. And I've seen many people experience a personal renewal while still maintaining their core values, but recognizing and looking and seeing them maybe in a slightly different viewpoint, different perspective. So faith and healing works together. It's okay to seek help. So many times people think that I just have to have enough faith and I will get healed. The fact of the matter is, sometimes faith works, as we've heard, in mysterious ways, right? And we may have to get help from other people that are put in our lives to help guide us. And that's just one example. I do know that the work requires tremendous courage. It means looking really deep at our beliefs and not necessarily to abandon them, because that sometimes is how people feel. If I don't fully agree, then they're not right. But I think it's more about understanding them in a different way, an adult perspective. More deeply, it can really evolve and help us understand things from a higher level that we may never have been able to before. And seeking our higher power can help us to see it in a different way and to find new meaning and new power in our own spirituality. So remember, it may involve reshaping our perspective or acknowledging our doubts and embracing it in a different way. It may mean recognizing that seeking help isn't a sign of weak faith, and it's actually an act of profound self-care and spiritual stewardship. So I'm going to give you another example. I had another client named David who felt that therapy would mean he wasn't trusting God enough. He worried that seeking help meant that he lacks faith, and it was really hard for him to come into the office and to talk about this. He seemed to dance around the subject for a long time before we were able to uncover what was really bothering him. And here's something that I told him that sometimes can be helpful for people. When you have a broken leg, do you refuse medical treatment because you should have just had the faith it would heal? No, you get the help you need while still trusting your healing process, because ultimately it is your body that has to heal. Well, guess what? Mental health is no different. Seeking guidance doesn't mean that we have some deep mental issues or that we have a lack of faith. It actually demonstrates great insight and acknowledgement that I want things to be better. And so I'm going to be proactive and make sure that I can get to a better place that I would like to be. And that is what growth is all about. So as you embark on your journey of mental and spiritual growth, remember that therapy isn't about fixing what's broken. It is about healing, understanding, and growing stronger in both your faith and your mind. It's okay to seek help, and doing so can help you live a more fulfilling, peaceful life. But by integrating both mental health and faith, you're not abandoning your beliefs. You're honoring them by taking steps towards healing and, of course, becoming the very best version of yourself. So take that step today, knowing that you are supported. I support you. I care about you. You are important in this world and this life, and you are worthy of both spiritual and emotional care. Remember, faith and healing often do go hand in hand. And with the right support, you can strengthen both. I hope that you can find that connection that will help you, whether it's with a mental health therapist, whether it's an ecclesiastical leader, or whether it's that connection directly with God, to be able to work through this. Thank you so much for writing in today, and thank all of you for joining me. And until next time, remember to take care of yourself. That includes your mind, your body, and your spirit. And of course, don't forget, that's all encompassing. You matter and your brain matters. Bye-bye.